Hey, what's up with it, King? What's up with it, Queen? You already know who it is. It's your big brother, Demont Pope, a.k.a. Mr. Purpose Over Pointless Excuses. Yeah, y'all already know what my job is, right? It's to inspire, right? It's to motivate, educate, and ultimately empower, right? Now, listen, all of my special guests, they do the exact same thing. Listen, every week I've been bringing you special guests. Remember to add value on top of value on top of value. We value stacking, right? Guess what? It don't stop this week. But first, I need you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, right? I need you to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever we're releasing new content. Also, I need you to hit the like button, thumbs up. I need you to type comments. And lastly, I need you to share it with about 10 people who you want to see put their purpose over pointless excuses. Now, without further delay, right? Without further ado, I would like to introduce to some and present to others my bro, Mr. Nate Evans Jr. Yeah.
Hey.
What's up, Nate? What's up,
Hey,
King?
what's going on, King, man? Look, I appreciate you, bro. I love what you're doing. The value that you're bringing out here to people is special, man. So I'm honored to be here, bro. I'm honored.
To God be the glory, King. I honor you, bro. I'm grateful. I know you got a lot going on, as most of my guests, all of my guests, really. So I know it's a bit much, man, to take out time in your schedule to kick it with me, bro. So I don't take it lightly, man. So I'm grateful, man. Let's jump right off into it, right?
Yes, sir.
Right off the bat, right? Let us know, right? Who exactly is Nate Evans Jr. and what exactly is it that you do, Nate?
Yeah. So, man, it took me a long time to figure that out, honestly, when you say, who are you? Because I was running with the titles, you know what I mean? But, just to give people some of my husband, I am a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a mentor, I'm a podcast host. I'm someone who's looking to inspire and impact and use every gift that God has given me to make my impact on this world and leave a legacy for my family. Currently, I do motivational speaking. I'm at schools all around the country. God has blessed me to make it through my pain and be able to articulate and share my story. So for me, I feel obligated, you know what I mean, to share my story and to bring that inspiration to the world because someone did that for me.
Wow, Nate, that's a very, very, very explosive answer. I'm talking about, let's dissect that. That was explosive. I was just expecting a little quick intro, but listen, that was explosive. Husband, right?
Yes, sir.
Father, right? Motivator, right? Inspirer, right? Oh man, come on, like you wear many hats. In other words, we both got these hats on, so let's talk about these hats. You wear many hats, and those many hats brought you to becoming a motivational speaker. You just said you're all over the country, and I'm a witness to this, right? I'm a witness to this because we've been in the same room at certain conferences, so I know that you travel all around the world pursuing and fulfilling your purpose. But let me ask you this, Nate, because somebody wants to know, like, how long exactly have you been traveling? How long have you been motivating? How long have you been inspiring? Like, how long have it been since you answered the calling, right, to walk in this purpose?
Yeah, man, that's such a beautifully articulated question. I'll start with the calling. When I was 15 years old, I remember being in the mall with my grandmother. We used to have a mall out here that they shut down. Actually, they turned it to like a motor vehicle or whatever. And there was the news, the local newspaper was walking around and journalists was asking like teenagers, like, what do you want to be? Right. And I remember they came to me and I was like, to be a leader. And I'm like, man, where did I get that from? And it's crazy because I forgot about this, bro, until about maybe 2 years ago. My mom had the newspaper clipping with the picture of me. That was actually the shot when I logged on. It's just like, that's the picture to be a leader. So I was 15 when that happened. That's when I felt the call, but I didn't really answer it until maybe 4 or 5 years ago. That's when I felt like, okay, I'm here at a place where I can answer this. I feel like I'm ready to do this, but inspiring, I've been doing this since then. You know what I mean? And it's always been through my actions. It was never my words. I didn't think I would be a speaker. Yeah. For me, I just wanted to play sports. I wanted to play ball. That was it. Like, that was the way out for me. That was where all my energy went. And, after certain circumstances happened, I started to share my testimony and people were inspired by it. And I was like, oh, there's something behind this. Like this gives me the same feeling that I get when I was playing ball at the highest level. Like that same energy, that same adrenaline, that same just this feeling of inspiration. I get that from sharing my story now. So I got very serious about it maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I started speaking different places, Boys and Girls Club, different organizations. I started to write my story out and publish my first book. And people started to book me to come into their schools. And I didn't know much about this. I didn't know it was what it could be, right? It's like, yo, I'm sharing my story. I see ET, I see Jeremy, I'm following these dudes. I'm like, yo, this is dope. But then it started to get really deep right before the pandemic. A lot of colleges and universities were bringing me in for their EOF staff days and different things like that. And I started to talk about my mental health journey. And that's when it started to click like, yo, you got a story behind this mental health thing on how you overcame it and how you can help others to do the same and have this conversation. So I started to focus on that. 2020 happened, as you know, the pandemic hit and it got real, bro. Yeah. And for me, I started to double down on the value and the inspiration that I can bring to people as we were all just isolated and stuck in our little spots and just stressed. Yeah. So I started to really dig deep, and that's when I invested. I invested in the Next Level Speakers Academy. That following year, I invested the money, and I was like, I need to take this to the next level because God's blessed me with this gift, but it's up to me to like cultivate this thing. Like he gave it to me, and it's like, yo, giving it to me ain't enough to do what he's calling me to do. He gave it to me. Now I need to sharpen this thing. You know what I mean? He gave me the tree. Now I need you to go make some furniture. I need you to make a table. I need you to make some chairs. I'm going to give you the beginning part, but I need you to actually be intentional. So for me, it was 2021. I was released from my last job ever. And I made an investment like the week after. I saw Jeremy and some stuff. I said, God, I got to go all in. And when I did that, this is the moment I want people to catch. When I said I'm going to go all in, I didn't just say it. My actions backed that with the investment, with looking to get the best coaching that I possibly could get to take this gift to the next level. Doors just started to open, bro. Wow. Doors literally that same week. I was out speaking virtual here, boom, 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 boom. I did a commencement, my first commencement speech that year, like months after when I decided I'm going to go all in on what you're telling me to do. And I'm not just going to play with this gift. I'm not going to do it as a part-time thing. It's like, yeah, you gave me these gifts for a reason. And it's because there's somebody out there hurting. That needs what I have. There's somebody that needs what I'm building right now. And it's selfish of me to just hold that in. And I'm like, yo, I got to go as much in as I can. And from there, things have taken off. And by the grace of God, in that time frame, I got married. We started traveling more. And that's when I really started to travel speaking. Like before I was driving to different places. Maybe we was going to PA, we go to Connecticut. Like we was getting it in. But then things started to change because then flights started coming. Like, yo, I need you to come to Cali. I'm like, how y'all know me in Cali? Like, yo, we heard through a resource, through this and this. I'm like, yo, that's God's favor. But he only does that when he knows you're ready for the next level. And a lot of people want the next level. And it's like, you're not ready for the next level. If I'd have got that 4 years ago when I started out, I wouldn't have been ready for it, bro. But now it's like, yo, I get that call. Okay, let's do it. And that took time.
Go. Look, man, you dropping again. That was a power packed mouthful, man. So I want to recap. Like you said, the inspiration is started when you were 15. All right. Sir. Now let's fast forward. If you don't mind me asking, what's your age today?
32.
32. So it started at 15 to 32. So we're talking about 17 years of cultivating and development, right? We're talking about 17 years of going through the process, 17 years of going through the go through in order to get to where you had to get to, right? But then you said it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years ago when you really started to take it serious, right? And as you started to take it serious, right? You're speaking, you're traveling places, right? You're driving around, right? But then you said something happened. That pandemic happened, right? Things got a little crazy, things got a little weird, right? And then you said something about you buckling down and you doubled down, right? And then you made an investment in yourself. You invested in the Next Level Speakers Academy, which I myself also invested in the Next Level Speakers Academy. And in case they want to know, we keep talking about Jeremy. That's our mentor. That's our coach. Shout out to the big bro, Jeremy Anderson, right? Yeah. So once you invested in yourself, you took action, right? You had the faith. The calling was already there, right? You answered the calling. You picked up the phone, right? And then, right, you received the assignment. And then you begin to execute. I'm going to execute. I'm going to do what my creator told me to do. I'm going to use the gifts and talents that you placed in me because they're gifts because I didn't have to necessarily do anything to earn them. I was born with them. So once you took all that you were given, Nate, invested in it, took a leap of faith, then all of a sudden, phones start ringing. People calling you all the way over in California. Wow. Now let me ask you this. You're 32 years old, 17 years of cultivating and developing. 4.5 years of getting your hands dirty, right? Going in the mud, where these young people suffering, where they struggling at, pulling them up, right? Being that example, being that active agent of change is what I like to say. Now, let me ask you this. Once you reach down in that dirt, once you grab them, once you're getting these phone calls to go to California, once you're driving, right? Once you're going from state to state, city to city, county to county, town from town. Let me ask you this, Nate. Talk to me about that inspiration, that moment. Let's back up, because you talked about energy, right? You talked about inspiration, which I keep using that word because it's right in line with my purpose, right? And the inspiration comes from inside. Motivation, sometimes you need external motivating factors, but inspiration comes internally. So talk to me about that motivation again, and that inspiration, right? That made you really, really say, look, I know this was here when I was 15, right? I know that I'm supposed to be doing something great. So talk to me about 4 or 5 years ago when you really, really, really made up in your mind that this is what I'm going to do. What was the motivation and inspiration driving you to make that critical decision?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I realized this, man. You talked about the motivation and the inspiration, right?
Yeah.
And what I realized was that prior to, me really answering the call and really stepping into the assignment, I was seeking external forces to validate me and let me know that the gift is that the gift is valuable, right? That I'm worthy of the call. Like, I can do this. And I kept hitting just these walls, man. I was putting my trust in people. And it was like, they would let me down, right? Because we're all flawed. But it's like, yo, if you don't approve this, if you don't think this is a good idea, I ain't doing this. Right. And it's like, I had to get to a point where I got let down so many times where it was like, yeah, you got to look within, bro. You're looking everywhere else. You've asked everybody else. You haven't sat with yourself at all and asked yourself, like, yo, is this it? You know what I mean? It's like, we God's placed it inside of us, man, for us to look internally to be like, okay, let me move forward with this. But a lot of times we look at so many different forces. We ask so many different people for their opinion, right? And it's like, yo, you have the gut feeling like this is it. But because you don't necessarily see it in your environment around you, you feel like you need to be doing something else that you can see. And this is one of those things where you need to bring it to life where you are, so those around you can experience it and see like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, I hit that moment about 4 or 5 years ago where I was like, I done looked all around me. I done asked everybody's opinion, and I continue to get let down. I continue to follow this person and this person. And God, you already know what it is. Yeah. Like, I already told you what to do. Yeah. Why do you keep asking around instead of just pursuing what I told you to do? And that's why it took so long in between. There was so much development that had to happen, so much growth that had to happen, so much pruning that had to happen. And then I also had to be let down a few times to realize like, oh, okay, my trust was in the wrong places. Yeah. Okay, let me focus on these things that you've called me to do. Let me use these gifts that I know I have and let me move forward with that. And then I just boldly did that. You know what I mean? I boldly did that. And from there, things started to happen. And it wasn't like overnight, like, okay, I'm on it. Boom, the next day, everybody's booking me. It's like, no, I had to go through the process. Like you said, the mud. I had to learn how to communicate my story, right? I had to also heal from parts of the story that I'm able to share now. I tell people all the time, you can't just be out there sharing things you haven't healed from, because you're going to have an open wound and you just bleeding on people. And I was at a point in my life where I wasn't healed from certain things, and I couldn't share those experiences or the lessons because I didn't learn a lesson yet. So I had to literally go through, start going to therapy, start doing work, start reading, learning, and really developing myself. And once I did that, I began to heal. And I was like, oh, I can share this because I know this is going to inspire somebody. But that took inner work. A lot of times people, we want to jump into something, especially in this space that we in, when we speaking life into, like, we're speaking life into people. I don't think people understand that. Yeah. I know they're like, oh, you're a motivational speaker. You motivate people. It's like, bro, you don't understand. I'm speaking words over people. When I go into these buildings, like, it's life or death. Like, it's not a game. Yeah. Like, we're following our ancestors, great orators. We're looking at the MLKs of the world and all these different individuals. They spoke life. Speak, King. Right. We're stepping right into that forefront to speak life. So I take it very, very seriously. And for me, I wasn't at a place where I was healed at. And I had to go through that process of healing, of having tough conversations with my parents, and just all of these different things to be the man that I am today. And I continue to progress. Right. I continue to grow. But now, I was able to step into that space and confidently walk into a building. And I can share this with you with confidence and full conviction, because I know it's going to add value to your life. Man. I know what you're going through, little bro. I know what you're going through, little sis. And I'm going to speak right to that spot and let you know that you can get through it, because I got through it. And I'm going to show you how to get through it as well. I'm going to hold your hand through this process. And I'm going to speak life into you, because you may not have that on a regular basis. You may not have somebody that tells you that they love you on a regular basis. But I need you to know from the bottom of my heart that I mean that. And this isn't just for me to come in and try to get glorified as this speaker. I don't care about that. I don't care about the title. Right. I'm simply here as a vessel, because I know what God did for me, and I'm here to pour that into you. So that's really when that shift happened, man. And I realized the inspiration was coming from within. And now that I'm much more mature, I understand, like, okay, let me continue to develop me. And as I develop myself, everything around me will be impacted simply by just my presence. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I worked on me. Yeah. I worked on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Check it, bro. Now, here we go again, right? Like you like a semi-automatic. You just got that 3-round burst situation going on. Pop, pop, pop. You just getting it. But look, check it out, right? You kept talking about process.
Yes, sir.
You kept talking about growing through or going through the process, right? You just said it wasn't an easy thing. It took time. No. Right. And you also said certain things you like to tell people, be careful talking about things you haven't healed from, because you'll be bleeding all over the people. Like, what we do is critical. Like, we speak life, like we save lives. Like, that's what we do. Right. Yes, God created the heavens and the earth in a word, using the word, bro, in words. Right. And then he said that we were created in his image. So we got to be careful about our words. And check it out, Nate. You kept talking about that healing process. And one thing I learned too at a conference, one of I believe it was the first Next Level Speakers of conference that Jeremy put on, right, for us. And David Shands was speaking, right? Shout out to the big bro, David Shands, Social Podcast, right? Sleep is for suckers. Shout out to you, big bro. But he said something that caught my attention in a major way, right? He said, when you talk about what you're going through, Nate, while you're going through it, it's complaining. But he said, when you talk about it after you've made it through it, Nate, it's a testimony.
Come on.
Yeah, when you talk about what you're going through while you're going through it, it's complaining. Right. But when you talk about it after you've gone through it, after you've grown through it, after you've overcome, after, right, you've leveled up, right? After you've hit that next level, then it's a testimony. And that's what happened for you, Nate. You went through the process. You invested in yourself, right? You got educated, right? You were already getting the on-the-job training and experience, not to mention the trauma, the experience that you've experienced within your own life during certain situations, because we all have experienced some of that, right? And then now you were able to tap into that inspiration, tap into that motivation, tap into the education, right, that God had placed in front of you, right? He had already given you everything to answer the call. Let me ask you this, Nate, when you're traveling around, when you're speaking to these people, pouring out of that energy, I can tell the passion is real as you're fulfilling your purpose. Like, what is that one thing that it does for them? What is the one thing that your product or services do for the listener, the hearer, when you speak? What does it do for them? How does it add value to other people? We know what it do for you. What does it do for me?
Yeah. That's a beautiful question. And I'll say this, it allows them to understand that they're worthy. A lot of times when I'm speaking to people, especially within, like, let's say the staff development space, they don't feel worthy of greater. They don't feel worthy of better. Even with the students, if I'm being honest, it's a level of worthiness where you don't feel worthy of a better life condition. You don't feel worthy to even achieve your dreams. So you never even go after them. And for me, I've noticed that just from the impact that I've been blessed to have is that people feel worthy of the calling that they have over their life. Because there was a time in the space where I didn't feel worthy to be able to achieve the calling on my life. So I didn't pursue it. I just stayed stagnant. And a lot of people live their lives in that place of stagnation where I don't feel worthy of better, right? It's almost like, and I'm gonna use this scenario because, we understand, like, the domestic abuse thing, right? Somebody's in a relationship and they stay in that relationship and they stay in that toxicness, right? And it gets better, then it gets worse. And you want to get out, but you continue to stay because it's familiar, but it's because you don't feel worthy of a better situation. You almost don't feel worthy of love, right? So you stay in that thing. And a lot of times people stay stagnant just like that. So I've noticed over the years, I'm like, man, what is that impact? What makes me different? Like, what stands out about me? And I ask that question a lot. And it's like, I feel worthy now. Like I've had this desire to do X, Y, and Z. I've had this desire to go to this school. I've had this desire to have this type of lifestyle, this type of relationship, to build my faith in this way. And I feel worthy to do it now. Because when you don't feel worthy, you don't go after what it is that God's calling you to do. It don't matter what the assignment is. If you don't feel worthy of it, you won't go. You'll continue to be like, nah, it's not for me. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. You'll keep telling God, like, I can't, nah. And it's like, yo, you're worthy of this. Like, I got you, but I need you to show up and do your part. And for me, that's what I usually come in to do. It's like, I want to let you know that you are worthy. You know, even my last, I think it was my last speaking engagement. I literally told the students, I was speaking to like 70 students, and I told them like, yo, before I leave, I need to let y'all know that you're worthy. And I even slowed down when I said it like 7 times. I was like, just listen to what I'm saying out of my mouth. And I got them to be completely quiet and just focus all of their attention on me. Like, yo, you are worthy.
Yeah.
And whatever that means for you, y'all all have different things that y'all are focused on, that y'all want to do, that y'all desire. And your circumstances don't necessarily promote those things, right? Y'all growing up in one parent household. Some of y'all growing up with your grandparents. Y'all ain't got food in the fridge. You ain't eat all weekend. I'm trying to tell you that you are worthy. Live from that space, knowing that this won't always be your condition right here. This won't always be your circumstance. You have something within you, just like I had something within me, just like you have something within you. Look, just understand that you're worthy of it. And when you feel that, everything, your state changes. You begin to move a little different. Like, yo, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep persevering. I'm going to be resilient because I know that I'm worthy of greater.
Right. Now, speaking of being worthy, right? Speaking of being worthy of greater, and you letting those kids know that, letting those students know that, just like you said, when sometimes you'll be like, man, forget it, I'm not trying to do this, but God is like, what do you mean? You got this. God is like, I've given you everything you need to be straight. Don't break, right? And you're like, I don't see it. So in those moments, let's talk about those moments, right? We talked about past moments, current moment. Like, what is a current challenge that you're facing right now? And what exactly are you doing to handle it? Because we want the viewers and listeners to know that you're going to make it through. You're going to have ups and downs in this life, right? But the key is never to give up. The key to it is advance. The key is to grow through every failure and lesson and learn from that. So what is a challenge that you're facing, Nate, and how are you handling that challenge?
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. And I love to be, I always say my superpower is like vulnerability. A challenge that I'm currently facing, man, and it may seem odd, but rest. Rest is a challenge for me, bro. And I'll share a really brief story. A couple of years ago, this might be like almost 2 years ago, I was in my restroom at my house. I thought I was just sick, right? I thought I had like COVID or something. And long story short, I ended up passing out in the bathroom, in my bathroom. And thank God my wife was there because she took me to the emergency room. And, passed out, fell in the shower, hit my head. I'm like, yo, what's up? I go there, they running all these tests on me. They got, tubes in my nose. Do I got COVID? Do I got the flu? They come back, I got none of it. I come to find out it's from exhaustion and stress. Literally just passed out, bro, like out cold, passed out. And from there, it was a challenge to really rest in all that God was doing. Like, I felt like, we live in that grind culture, that hustle culture. You got to be getting it all day long, right? You need to be working from sun up to sundown, like getting busy, especially if you're a full-time entrepreneur. Sweet. And for me, I couldn't find rest. I couldn't even like fully sleep through the night because my mind was racing all the time about like, I got to go get it. And it wasn't up until recent where I started to challenge myself to really take rest days and take like little mini sabbaticals for like 4 days straight, where I'm shutting off the phone, I'm shutting off social media, emails, and I'm just being present. And that was a challenge, man, like really resting and like, yo, you put the work in, you stay focused here, and then you rest right here, and you allow yourself to recover and develop, and you allow God to be God and not try to play his part too. You know what I mean? Like allow him to do him. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I was chilling with my wife and just resting over the last few days, just kind of like really soaking it all in, like, yo. And what's crazy about that is what I realized was that in my rest, I was able to be present with her, feel joy, laugh, have a good time, and opportunities started to come in that rest.
Wow.
It was crazy, bro. I went back and checked my email. It was like 3 opportunities for engagements. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. I thought I had to do more to be better. Listen, right. But it's like the gym. It's like the gym. You train hard and people like, yo, you got to train more to get bigger. I'm like, bro, now you got to rest. You got to rest, bro. And I know because I was a personal trainer for several years, right? And I used to do like the men's physique shows where, you know, you got the board shorts on. And I remember prepping for my show, training hard, bro, talking 12-week program. And I'm asking my coaches like, yo, what can I do to get even more? They're like, rest. I'm like, nah, you're tripping. And I remember not taking their advice. And I ended up coming in second place. And the difference was me not resting and allowing my muscle to build in a recovery. My mind was thinking do more to build more, but when I was doing more, it was actually tearing me down more. And I wasn't getting a recovery that I needed to develop and build. So a lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, as speakers, we on go because a lot of our message is that it's like, yo, we got to get after. I want you to hustle more. I want you to do better. I want you to achieve higher. But it's like, yo, when is there a time where I can actually soak in what's going on and allow my mind and my body to recover so I can be the best version of myself when you do give me that call? Right. So when you do tell me, yo, I need you at this school, it's 2,000 students. I need you to come out here and right at it. I don't need to be burnt out. I need to be at my best. And for me in this season of my life, the biggest challenge has been rest. So between my wife and my therapist, they've been on my head about like rest, like really resting in. I realized for me as a man, especially as a Black man, that was a challenge, man, because I was afraid of I had this scarcity mindset of poverty, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Of like, yo, I don't want to, I got to keep going because I'm going to lose everything. And my therapist said this to me, and I'll land the plane right here. She said, success is a trigger for you. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, success. Like whenever you achieve something, you get anxious. And you start figuring out like, oh, I'm about to lose it. I got to hustle more. I got to do more. And she was like, we got to get you to rest and recover.
Wow. And
it hit me hard, bro. So that's been my real life challenge in this season of my life, bro, is just learning to be intentional about that rest every day, shutting it off at a certain time, once a week, just shutting it off completely, bro.
Yeah. Check it out, Nate. Like you took the word right out my mouth. And I was about to use the comparison between the weightlifting, but see, it came out your mouth better, right? It hit different, right? Because you got the experience with the weight training. Like I ain't never been physically buff or any of that. So that's why God was like, nah, hold your peace, let the man do what he doing because he's cooking something right now. And I was about to highlight that, bro, because you're right. It's the resting moments, right? Yeah. And even I struggle with that. I told my wife, like, sometimes I don't know when I'm supposed to be off, when I'm supposed to be on, because I'm so used to being on, right? Yeah. Now, with that, Nate, would you say that challenge that you just got through talking about resting, right? Even though you realized in the resting, that's when you started seeing results from the labor in your resting. That's when you start getting gigs in your inbox without you having to do the work because you had already done the work. That's when God was able to do the work on your behalf.
Right.
So would you say that challenge just so well made? We're going to roll this into the next question, which is, what would be the most important lesson that you've learned? Would you say that resting is the most important lesson that you've learned, Nate?
Yeah. I would say having faith during the resting is the most important lesson I learned because there's a difference. All right. You can take days off, right? And I'm gonna just let myself recover. But there was a level of faith for me to be able to enjoy the present moment because I've been places where I've been, on a vacation, but I'm thinking about work.
Yeah. Sound like
what I mean? I'm thinking about like, I got to da-da-da-da, and I'm not present with the person. It's almost not fair to the people I'm with because I'm not even present with you. I'm thinking about getting to it when I get back home. Yeah. And for me, the biggest lesson was having enough faith to enjoy the moment. So, just me and my wife over the weekend, we took those 4 days off and we binge watched some shows. We made some food, some snacks. We got music on. Yeah. And I was like, yo, my goal is to be as present as possible. And that's how I'm going to exercise my faith.
I love it, man. Being present, man. And it's needed, man. And I needed to hear that from another voice because I can only imagine what my wife go through, bro, because I'm that guy. We on vacation. I got the MacBook, right? I'm on the phone, like I'm working, I'm networking, I'm trying to figure out, I'm doing research. I'm not present, man. So that I needed that reminder, and I know somebody else needed it. Matter of fact, go ahead and hit the notification bell, the subscribe button, right?
Yes, sir.
Hit the like button on that one, right? Hit the comment on that one, share that one just for that statement, right? Having faith in the rest. Nate, listen, this is what I want you to do real quick. I want you to let everybody know, Nate, where they can find you, where they can contact you, your social media, where's your website, so you can get more inboxes saying people want you to come out, because you just dropped some power, and I want them to be able to reach out and get some more of that when they're ready for it. Come on with it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Again, thank you, bro, for just the opportunity to share on this platform. For those of you that are interested, you can definitely follow me on Instagram, Twitter. It's at Nate Evans Jr., NateEvans Jr. That's also my website too, Nate Evans Jr. And my YouTube as well, where I have, my podcast, different videos, speaking engagements. Everything is under Nate Evans Jr. That's where you can find me everywhere.
Yeah, Nate Evans Jr. Hey, check it out, King. Now this one is a big one, right? This one is a big one. It's so big I had to fast forward to this one, right? For that person, because we've inspired somebody, and I love to get to this special moment and take my time, because I know, Nate, we've inspired somebody. Nate, I know somebody is watching this, King, and they've heard your story, right? They've heard the tenacity, right? They've heard the consistency, but it's something, Nate, that's stopping them. It may be fear, right? They may not have the parents to have the difficult discussions with, like you had to have with your parents, right? They may not be able to hit the weights and get their body build on so they can flex or whatever. You get what I'm saying? They may not know that they have anything, and they're watching you and they're watching me, and they've been inspired to step out on faith, right? And pursue this thing I wear on my chest called purpose, right?
Yes,
what would you tell them to inspire them, to motivate them, to empower them to keep moving in spite of how they feel right now?
Yeah. And this will be brief too.
Yeah.
I want to say this to them, those that are listening, watching, catching this, as soon as it comes out or years from now, someone is waiting on what you're building. And you may never meet these individuals, but someone needs what's inside of you. They need those things. And it's up to you. It's your responsibility to pour that out onto them, right? Your life is literally an answer to someone's prayer. And a lot of times people's prayers don't get answers because we don't show up and be that answer. And God has called you to be an answer to a problem. Somebody's literally praying for you to become the best version of yourself, for you to sharpen your gifts, for you to make that product, for you to give that service. And you are literally preventing them from getting that prayer answered. So it's a lot bigger than us. We have to realize somebody's waiting on us to become who we know we're supposed to be.
Man, so powerful, Nate, that I got to mention this, bro. Like last year at some time, don't even know when it was, bro. I posted a quote and it said, somebody prayed for a gift, so God sent them you. I'm gonna say it again. Somebody prayed for a gift and somebody sent them you. Hey, listen. Y'all already know me, right? I want to say thank you, Nate, for stopping through here, dropping these bars. Like that was reinvented and re-inspired by you. So I want to say thank you, man. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you listeners, all of you viewers who thought it not robbery to stay tuned, not just for a second, but for the entire episode. Listen. You already know me. I'm your big bro, Demont Pope, AKA Mr. Purpose Over Pointless Excuses. That's your big bro, Nate Evans Jr. I'll holler at y'all next week. Yeah.